Hey everybody, happy anniversary! Happy 12 years to you and to me and the game collection and SuperDerek RPGs. I've been on YouTube for about 12 years now. Believe it or not, July of 2013 was when I released my very first video, first episode of the game collection, talking about Earthbound. Oh, I'm kind of doing this video off the cuff, and this is maybe attempt number 3 to talk about it because I keep going off into these different tangents and I have so many things to talk about. But the main thing that I wanted to tell you about today is a change in some strategy because of a change in situation. You know, you have to adapt to the way things are, not the way that you wish things were. I wish I was still employed by my previous employer, but that is unfortunately changing. I was laid off recently due to very recent, very big changes in a cottage industry that was affected by the recent spending bill that essentially ended a government program, not by like an act of Congress ending the program, but by just not providing funding to the program that is supposed to do a thing. That cottage industry had a big hole in the bucket. Unfortunately, that bucket paid my salary, and so now I'm in between jobs. So, long story short, I am in the middle of a race right now, and you are helping me. You don't even know it, but that race is a race between my ability to find a new full-time job and the race between my ability to make YouTube my next full-time job. I'm going to throw myself into both things for the next probably few months. At worst case scenario, throwing myself into YouTube will help offset and extend the duration that I'm able to stay afloat as I burn through some of my severance pay. I got enough to go for a few months and hopefully I'll find a decent, suitable replacement job in the meantime. But this is not my first rodeo trying to go full-time on YouTube. So I'd started my YouTube channel in July of 2013 because I had just left a super stressful job. And that job was outsourced IT for small businesses. And it was an interesting job, but it just wasn't for me at the time. It was wrecking my sleep. It was one of those jobs where like I was given a lot of responsibility, but not a lot of resources to make those sorts of things happen. It was definitely the sort of job that embraced my tech background. I'm a very techie person, I like to think, but also an artist background, a very artistic person. But the problem was that, well, for one, I was miserable doing just the tech. And I needed a creative outlet. And man, incidentally, I had also been having some nightmares about losing opportunities to work for another YouTube channel that I had really admired up to this point. They were big on Screw Attack for a little while, not as big as like Angry Video Game Nerd, but they were pretty moderately successful. And then at some point they switched it over to Video Games Awesome. They kind of embraced the Twitch experience, kind of early on, embraced the whole Minecraft thing right as it was taken off really on Twitch, and they kind of blew up on Twitch. I was having some like midlife crisis stuff going on at the time, and I was like, you know what? I want to leave an impact somehow. I want to hone my creative skills. I want to be able to make videos. Maybe I could leverage these to work for my, at the time, hero. That obviously didn't end up working, but that's why my first video talking about Earthbound began with an homage to awesome video games. I did eventually get a different job while I was still continuing to do my creative outlet. That was fine for a while. For a long while. And then I eventually worked for this body camera company. We sold body cameras to law enforcement officers, and I helped train people on how to use them. And that had me traveling all across the United States constantly. Eventually, that holster company did sell us to a competitor that you might know for making the things that shoot out and zap people. Long story short, that competitor bought us and then shut the whole thing down, basically. And so 7 years ago, I tried my hand at going full-time on YouTube. I had about 30,000 subscribers, but I had some momentum going on. Oh man, do I talk about the moving thing? I should, probably. We were giving it the old college try. That was, I think, one of the reasons that I started doing the JRPG Weekly Update to begin with. That's when I started making more videos besides just the game collection. One of the things that was involved in that strategy was to move back to Kansas where there was a lower cost of living. So we did. There were some other factors involved in that decision process. Amy's grandmother had just passed. Her grandfather was living alone. Her father was having like a cancer scare. So like there was a lot of other things pulling us back. You could almost think of it as a dairy main of my own for those of you who get the reference. And getting here was not easy. It was easy, the act of getting here. We hired a moving company to like take our stuff from the apartment in Seattle and move it here. And that moving company was awful. They picked up our things for the agreed upon amount of money, and then they never arrived. So that was a bit of a problem, especially for me trying to start my YouTube channel in earnest and actually earn an income. That put a damper on things. Eventually, we paid the extortion fee in order to have our things returned to us. We did the money exchange. I have a whole video series called like My Moving Nightmare. I set it to private a while back. It became irrelevant over time and it was a dark time in my life, and you could probably watch it here. It would support the channel if you did, but it's also irrelevant to RPGs, but it goes into the play-by-play essentially of just how we were extorted. All of our things were held hostage. You know, is extorted a legal word? Allegedly, we were extorted. I am alleging. There was a few months where we didn't have our things, and during that time, I continued to make the JRPG Weekly Update. If you remember the dark basement videos where I would talk about things, that was one of the things. That was one of the reasons. The red curtains was a cheap background that I put together in order to just have a studio. Oh, we were making some good headway though. Long story short, I ended up finding a different job here in Manhattan, Kansas, working for Kansas State University. And the Kansas State University job was actually this little startup that existed within this cottage industry that just got destroyed. That covers kind of the history of my YouTube channel and how it relates to my work history somewhat. And obviously a lot of them are intertwined, and that has to do with the fact that YouTube is a labor of love. It is a second full-time job that pays less than minimum wage for those who really want to know. But the passion keeps bringing me back to it eventually. I'm older and wiser, and I think that I really, having had that previous experience, I think I can make this work. So, you know what? I need to talk about what the changes are. I'm going to be making more videos here. I wish that I could say that I came out of my funk that had kept me from making videos for a while. I did. You could say that one of those sources of stress that kept me from making videos was waiting for the hammer to drop, but now that it's dropped, I'm no longer stressed about that. The JRPG Weekly Update is great for those who want to get caught up on what happened throughout the week, but it's very difficult to make a video advertising, here's what happened a week ago. So I am going to start making videos that showcase or talk about events as they occur, actually capturing some of the hype around things when people are still hyped and it's still at a fever pitch. Also, I'm going to be streaming on Twitch again, Tuesdays, Thursdays, and Fridays. And I have a plan for how to do this a little bit differently as well, because narrative-based games are very difficult to watch on Twitch. Before, if you were watching me stream on Twitch, you'd be like, oh, well, here's the thing. He's playing a game that I want to play. I can't watch that. Well, that really affects, your ability to strive on Twitch, because you need consistent viewership, more or less, not people to just disappear for months at a time. I realized the irony of saying that after having disappeared for months at a time, but you get the idea. Also, there was also the issue of like, well, if I'm streaming 3 days a week and I'm going for like 4 or 5 hours a day, and it's all the same game and you're trying to keep up with it, that's a huge commitment from you, and that's not good, because you have a life too. And do I expect you to watch my VODs and stuff after the fact? That's a homework almost, right? So here's the plan. Here's how I'm gonna address that. 3 different streaming days, 3 different games. On Tuesday, that's today, I'm starting Metaphor ReFantazio. I know a lot of you aren't gonna wanna watch that. Thursday's gonna be Throwback Thursday. That's gonna be my retro day. So if you wanna watch me play retro games, specifically starting Dragon Quest VI. That's right, I'm finally resuming my series playthrough and review of Dragon Quest. And 6 just so happens to be the next one up there. So that's when you can join me on Thursdays. And then on Fridays, I'm also going to be streaming again, but game number 3 this time is going to be, I guessed it, you guessed it, Expedition 33. Player Obscure. I think it's going to be a lot of fun. It's going to be a lot of work. It's going to be a lot of time. It's going to be streaming from 7 p.m. until 11 p.m.-ish Central Time. So that's going to be like 5 p.m. to 9 p.m. on the West Coast. I think that'll work. I think it'll help. I think it'll help offset some of the challenges. Pairing consistent videos every week with consistent streams on Twitch every week, I think that's going to help make a big difference, especially because the Twitch subscriptions, honestly, pretty solid source of recurring revenue and stability. YouTube, while I ramp it up, it's not going to pay well for those of you who are curious or concerned. The videos themselves don't really pay well. It's the sponsorships, though, that sometimes can make a big difference. And if I continue to build up the momentum of this channel again, sponsorships will return, and that will vastly increase the likelihood of success here. So sponsorships will be part of the strategy. I'm sorry that they might be annoying. I'll do my best to make them entertaining or at least bearable. And in the meantime, just watching, liking, and subscribing makes such a huge difference here. Here's the thing. The reason people say that is because it's one of the few things that you can actually do that tells YouTube, yes, show me when these things come out. That this is a channel worthy of not just showing me again, but maybe by recommending it to somebody else. And that is the beautiful thing. Your interaction here not only, shows YouTube that you want to see when I get more videos, but it also sends signals to YouTube that other people who are like you might also like me. So I just wanted to throw that out there. It's dumb, but how am I going to tell you, oh, here's how you use a 20-year-old website? But I feel like not mentioning that would be a really lost thing. By the way, follow the link in the video description to find my Twitch channel, SuperDerek RPGs on Twitch. That's some cool stuff that will make a big difference to me and my immediate survivability ability. This wasn't intended to be like I'm in trouble, money please. That's not what this was meant to be, though it would really make a difference. It's not meant to be that. I really wanted to just provide you an update on why things are the way that they are right now for me, and why I was gone, why I'm coming back, why things are changing. Some of it's good news that results from a bad situation. It's a lose-win. But hey, thank you for 12 years. It means a lot. You guys could have stopped watching a long time ago, and this channel might not have made it. But a lot of you kept watching, and a lot of you kept supporting me, and it makes me feel nice to know that I'm not alone in this crazy world. That, and as the world tries to tear us apart from one another, it is the RPGs that will sustain us. Praise be to the RPG. Things are getting weird. I better wrap up this video. So, just wanted to say thank you again. I'll see you guys in the next one. Have a great day, everybody. Links in the description, please. Thank you.